Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation, and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. Let go of negative thinking and stop living for the weekend. With your host, Fran Excel.
So welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel Mindset Coach, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm very grateful you've chosen to put me in your earbuds today. Please do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything, and do leave me a review. I love reading them, and it really helps me get found by other people who need to hear what I share. I'd also love you to email me your mindset and productivity questions or topics you'd love me to cover to hello@franexcel.com, because I know a lot of you think I'm inside your heads because you tell me all the time. But if I don't know what you need, I can't give it to you. So let me know. I don't know about you, but despite being a 35-year-old, I've learned some incredible lessons from children's books, particularly Dr Seuss, over the years. Yeah, many that I think can be applicable to business and in life, to life in general. I honestly think if you got him and AA Milne in a room together, there would be some pure magic. Oh, to be a fly on the wall for that chat. So much freaking wisdom that you kind of just wish you'd really appreciated as a child. Anyhoo, what's my point here? So I was at a big entrepreneurial event a couple of weeks ago, and I was having dinner with some powerhouse women that I am very, very lucky to be able to call friends. And I talked about a reading that we had at our wedding of "All the Places You'll Go" by Dr Seuss. They kind of giggled, and then they remembered I'm essentially a big kid, and it's not really a surprise that I read this stuff, let alone have these kids' books read at my wedding. And I said, hold up, I'll read it to you. And I did. And they were a little bit transfixed, and they kind of instantly got it and how it can be applicable to our businesses. So today, my message for you is going to be slightly different. Story time, if you will. So perhaps "All the Places You'll Go" is not a common wedding reading, but considering what we were going through, myself and my husband at the time, it was incredibly poignant for us. The reason that I want to share it with you today is that it really helped both myself and my husband at the time to really keep the faith through those tough times. Yeah, to know that we were still on the right path despite what we were going through at the time, and that it would all be worth it in the end. And we'd probably come out better and stronger in the long run. We didn't know that at the time, so we need a little faith in it. I still occasionally read it out to my husband as a reminder of where we were, like where we're at now, the journey, and the reminder to keep that faith going. You know, that everything is going to work out just as it's supposed to. Now, I won't go into too much detail about what was going on for us because it's not just my story, so it's not fair. But the short version is that we lost our business, our home, moved in with my mother-in-law for 4.5 years. Sorry, Pen. And had originally cancelled our wedding because we could no longer pay for it. And all of this kind of happened all in one go. Now, our parents very, very kindly stepped in, and we had the most incredible DIY wedding where I made everything from scratch. I got very resourceful. Yes, baked bean cans were used very creatively. But that's by the by. "All the Places You'll Go" is a message of being able to regroup when things go wrong. A message that everything isn't going to be perfect all the time, that mistakes will be made, but that you can come back fighting and it's not the end. So for me, "Oh, the Places You'll Go" is a message about staying curious. You know, I talk about curiosity a lot, you know, staying open and to just keep going. And I thought it would be a good time to share it now as we are into silly season and so close to the end of the year and the end of the decade. And I'm seeing and hearing a lot of people panic, panic about not being where they wanted to be right now, that they feel so far away from their goals and as if they're running out of time. You're not. Okay. Trust me, you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And I know it can feel hard, but be patient, grasshopper. It is all coming to you. Maybe not in the same form you think it will be in right now, but if you stick with it, it's coming. It's momentum, it's tenacity, it's dedication, you know, all of these things. So of course, I can't just read the whole thing out for you, even though I would love to. So do go and purchase your own copy. And I highly, highly recommend reading this to your kiddies if you have them. But I'm going to pick out my key quotes from it and what I took from them in the hopes that it helps you too. And I really, really hope that you love it as much as I do. So, congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the guy who'll decide where to go. So I love this for a starting point. For me, this is showing that everyone has the ability to achieve whatever they want as long as they choose to. And today, not tomorrow, not next week, today is your day. Yeah. You'll look up and down streets, look them over with care. About some you'll say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down a not so good street. So this for me is all about having your wits about you and trusting your gut and your intuition to guide you and really trusting yourself and being okay with not having it all figured out at once. It's not realistic to expect yourself to. So sit with it and stay patient. Yeah. And then things start to happen. Don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too. Freaking love this sentence. So for me, it's all about how you need to allow yourself time and trust that your thoughts and beliefs are going to catch up with you. Again, it's really about trust for me. Trust that even though it's going to feel a bit wobbly at times and you'll have doubts, that it will all come together. It always takes a bit of time for your unconscious programming to catch up with your conscious wants, goals, desires, all of that lovely stuff. But it will catch up if you make the unconscious beliefs conscious, so you can challenge them and take the time for your brain to actually gather the evidence. Yeah. Next, it says, you'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will topple the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. You know, this is the piece of kind of expectations versus reality. Being prepared to fall, fail, and fail forward. And it goes to say, I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch and your gang will fly on. You'll be left in a lurch. Ugh, I think we can all relate to this one. It's inevitable that there will be ups and downs. It happens to all of us. So fearing the downs or, you know, trying to avoid them isn't going to get you anywhere. And then there's the next piece of it. There's the friends and potentially family, which is very often, who just don't get what you're doing. There's the people who'll pretend to be your friend based on what they think you can give them and their perception of what you're doing and where you're at. Yeah, it can be tricky to navigate, but it's so worth it in the end, because people who were never real friends will go and you'll be left with the lifers. That's what I like to call them. You know, the people who have your back and lift you up. You know, letting go of friendships can be really hard. But remember, it's actually not about you anyway. It's about them. It's their map of the world, what you highlight in them that they don't like, all sorts of different things. But the bottom line is it will feel tough, but it's for the right reasons in the end. And all the amazing ups are on the other side of it. So it continues with, you'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump. And the chances are then you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. Do you dare to stay out? Do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? Love this pen. So it's inevitable that we will make mistakes, and that's cool. Sometimes fail. Do something against we'll sometimes fail. You'll do something against our values because we're told that's the way it's done, and then we'll beat ourselves up for not being where we want to be or for having a setback. But the message for me here is to stick with it. Don't lose hope. It may not be easy sometimes, but it's all possible, especially when you work out the payoffs and the potential rewards. Yeah. So some of my favorite questions to ask are, what are the positives and the negatives? Can't speak today. If I do or I don't do something. So what are the positives and the negatives if I do? What are the positives and negatives if I don't? You know, this game needs an element of courage, which isn't about not feeling fear. That's not it at all. It's a very common misconception. Courage is about taking action in spite of fear. Yeah. So then it goes, oh, love this bit. You can get so confused that you'll start in to race down long wiggled roads at a breaknecking pace and grind on for miles, cross weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, toward a most useless place, the waiting place. For people just waiting. Waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or a no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting. And then it actually carries on with all the other many ways that you could be waiting. But I really love this part the most because it really highlights just how ridiculous it is to stay waiting. Yeah. And it's the fact that you will go down roads that you're kind of like, why did I go here? Because you'll have been told to, or you're doing things that aren't, you know, they're not in line with what you want. And the waiting thing, that's what will cripple you achieving what you want. Waiting for circumstances to change rather than making it happen for yourself. And yet it's what so many of us do. Yeah, we wait, stuck in inaction. And I love that piece because it really highlights that, because there's so many things that come along with running a business where we can think it's just us. It's just us that's struggling with it. And that's one of the reasons I love this poem so much. And it goes on to say, no, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find the bright place where the boom bands are playing. With banner flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky. Ready because you're that kind of guy or girl. You know, then there's a lovely piece about all the lovely things you'll be doing. But this shows that to find a way through is about taking action. Taking action is where things move forward and you build momentum. And then, except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win because you'll play against you, all alone, whether you like it or not. Alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. Getting it? We can all relate to this part, I am absolutely sure. The feeling that we have to do everything ourselves, the inevitable mindset gremlins, the fear, the uncertainty, that really are inevitable, but manageable. You know, this can be a lonely game if you don't put structure in place to deal with it. Being alone is not the best or easiest or quickest way forward. It takes longer to get out of the slumps and funks when you try and do it on your own. So why would you? Systems and structure help you through any of the wobbly times so you don't feel all alone. We are our own worst enemies. This whole piece is about self-sabotage, you know, how we battle. Our conscious and our unconscious are in battle. It's how we're built and how our brain can work against us. But if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know it doesn't have to be that way. So once we learn a few of the tools and techniques, you can learn to get your brain to work with you and unslump yourself much faster. So what can you put in place to make sure that you have that structure? Is it masterminds, coaching, memberships, going to events? What'll it be for you? Then a nice bit. But on you will go, though the weather be foul. On you will go, though your enemies prowl. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far and face up to your problems, whatever they are. Again, this is about courage for me. Action in spite of fear, setbacks, failures, mishaps. Just showing you how it isn't just you feeling this way. We're all in this together, and the more we talk about it, the better it gets. You know, this for me is about the resilience to just keep going, and you'll get where you're going. That's the good stuff. Yeah. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. So be sure when you step with care and great tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. This for me is good old behavioral flexibility. Everything worth having is going to come with ups and downs, but be prepared as you can, of course, but also prepare to be flexible. Yeah. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So Be your name Buxbaum or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai Alley Valin O'Shea. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So get on your way. Love this finish. So for me, it's essentially saying this is for you. No matter who you are or where you've come from, where you've been, what you've been through, you just have to choose it. And it's possible for all of us. And don't expect it to be amazing all the time. There will be great, great, great highs, but there will be lows. That is life. Whether you're running a business, whether you're in a job, whatever it is, there are ups and downs. It's polarity, the law of polarity. Yeah. It's like a pendulum swinging from one to the other, one to the other. You can't have one without the other. So make the decision and take the action and get on your way. Stick with it. Expect a few wobbles, ups and downs along the way. Keep your vision in mind and you'll get to where you're going. You will. Patience. And I really, really hope that you've enjoyed it as much as me and you are popping off to your nearest bookstore to go and grab yourself the full copy, because I think it's so worth reading everything. And let me know your key takeaways, because the way I see it and the things that I take from it will be different to you, perhaps. So I really hope that you can take the lessons on and let me know if you want me to do story time again. I'd love it. So, if you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and changing things for yourself, then book in a free discovery call so we can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. And if you want my eyes and ears on your problems, I work with people one-on-one and through my Proactive Pants Mastermind. So stop waiting for if and when and decide to change things now, because you can. And as always, I hope that was helpful. So any questions, just let me know. And as always, I will see you next week. Bye.